Folge.
So a quick little recap. I signed up for trade school again for spring of 2020, and it started February 8th, 2020, and it was a Monday, Wednesday, and Friday class. We met at 7 a.m. at the trade school. We did lecture for a couple hours until 9. We got a short break, usually about 20 minutes, but I think we usually ended the lab section of the class at 10:30, maybe 11 at the latest. During lecture, he'll go over sometimes what we were going to do for the lab, but it could just be about the code section. In the 2018 Uniform Plumbing Code book, he would go over from starting chapter 7. We broke up into groups of about, I think, 4 people, and each group will have a different assignment, at least for this instructor, whether it was installing a water closet or toilet onto like this makeshift laboratory setting type of plywood box, basically with a fake wax ring, and then we would just, put the bolts and put the toilet bowl on it, and then also put the tank, and then kind of install all the fixtures like the flushometer, the fill valve, the Douglas valve, things like that. So that's one example of what each group would do. Another group would be at the same time maybe soldering. Those were the things that we were able to cover, we were able to try during the almost 2 full months of class until the pandemic hit.
Down, yeah. I've been feeling
So how is plumbing like now that we are in a pandemic? It's been, well, actually today was our last day, so how did plumbing go? So plumbing turned into Zoom meetings from the same duration, which was 7 a.m. on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, and class would pretty much entail 3 hours of the instructor talking about the code book, maybe referring to some YouTube videos or videos from A.O. Smith about water heaters, kind of referring to websites that had very credible and reputable information about whatever section we're talking about, and basically him just going through and explaining different parts of the code section so that it was easier for us to understand. So the instructor would also film himself doing things live as we're in the Zoom meeting, and that would be kind of our makeshift lab. It was obviously very frustrating for him, and I would assume very frustrating for my other fellow classmates that we were no longer able to do the lab. So for the remainder of the class, other than those maybe handful of videos that he filmed around his home, the lab section of the class was going to be watching other YouTube videos about whatever he was talking about, whatever was relevant to the code section, like how PEX is joined together, different ways to join PEX tubes, I think. A lot of videos on water heaters from A.O. Smith. I think it's like A.O. Smith Academy or something like that, which is accessible to anybody. The YouTube videos are as well. So that became our lab. And quite honestly, I was disappointed. It's not as effective. It's just, I'm not learning and getting that hands-on experience, but that's pretty much all I can say about it, because it's nobody's fault that this happened and this pandemic is going on and we can't go to school and we can't interact with one another and, critique one another as peers and as a group, and, just have the real life questions that we may have that could be helpful in learning about plumbing.
so down, yeah.
I do have a final still next week, and I did get an email from the instructor saying that we were going to all receive a final, like multiple choice type thing online, and then we have a week, basically Monday till Friday, to answer all the questions and submit it on the school's website system. It's pretty much like open book, open internet kind of thing, and once you click all your responses, you submit, and then there's no changes, like takebacks after that. It's graded, the system does that. So no contact, no really like demonstrating anything.
Can you tell me why? Can you tell me why I'm down?
I do not plan on signing up for trade school, at least for another year, or until this pandemic is completely out and completely out of our environment, because the labs are going to be maybe not all online. I think they were saying that the lab section for the actual trades like plumbing, construction, slash carpentry, electrical, and what's the other one? HVAC, I think, because those trades really do require hands-on experience, hands-on being on the lab, being out in the field, or makeshift school field. These labs may be where 10 students will go into the lab at a time and practice social distancing as they're doing the hands-on lab part of the class, and do it that way. But regardless, it's not something that I'm going to be interested in. I don't think that I would get as much as I would like from the class to pay for class again and then do it in that format. And I'm not in any rush to learn a specific trade or continue on with plumbing training. I really want to learn electrical next, so I'm probably going to wait a year until all this kind of subsides, and then I will probably sign up for electrical and hope that the lab section will be as it was before the pandemic.
Yeah.
In conclusion, my trade school experience taking plumbing class and continuing on with plumbing class during the pandemic included Zoom meetings as our lecture portion, and instead of 2-hour lecture and 1-hour lab, it became 3-hour lecture, and it was a lot of one-sided conversations from the teacher talking the whole time. And it was I guess I felt like myself and my fellow classmates were more hesitant about asking questions because it was a different format. And the labs were pretty much no longer, and it was a lot of watching YouTube videos and free accessible content online that we watched together, and we were able to ask questions that way. Overall dissatisfied with how it went because of this unexpected circumstance that we're all dealing with. But as far as the future and continuing forward with plumbing education, or trade school for that matter, I will not be signing up for the fall semester because the labs are just not worth it if it's going to be held online. That concludes my video for today. Thank you so much for watching. I post videos every Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday about trade school, the trades that I'm learning, about my business, which is doing handiwork or home repair jobs. I mostly work through TaskRabbit, but I also have some clients off the app now, and dealing with the pandemic, I guess like everybody else, having vlogs, going hiking, cooking videos, and a segment that I would like to continue doing, like maybe once a month or once every few weeks, called Unfiltered Thoughts, where I drink something with alcohol in it and I just blurt out whatever is on my mind. I will try to focus it on a certain topic. But feel free to subscribe if you're interested. If not, totally fine. Thanks for coming by. And if you are thinking about starting trade school for the trades during this pandemic, that's how labs and lectures are going to be for right now, and maybe for the rest of the year should this pandemic increases in cases occur again. And yeah, thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next video. Peace.
No friends of mine, no friends of mine around, yeah. Now I'm thinking I might have caught the June.